where आप mic test लेते
I've been told to give a mic test. I'm audible? So, guys and girls, after a long wait, I'm here before you to tell my part of story, the Lumania. Before I start, let me just do a little bit of art. First, let me start with a question that can anybody guess that what is it meant for? Can anyone guess? Raise your hand, please. Yes, that's correct. In fact, the Lumina is actually the spark for which I'm here today. And I often wonder how many of you are sitting here hiding their talent and the brilliance behind this, the facade which we are wearing. For example, that, the Lumina is the purpose is that how to spark, how to give that light to a soul who need that guidance. In fact, I must tell you that while coming here, I was thinking that what to say, what not to say. But this subject matter, the Luminia, as such, is such a brilliant, topic, and probably the entire day is required for it. Like all of you would be knowing that there is a the bell has no meaning unless you ring it. The song has no tune unless you sing it. I'm here before you to sing that song for you and ring that bell for you. It's not that I wanted to do it for you. After these 14 minutes or 15 minutes of my speech, I'm sure all of you can do for yourself. My journey started with, a lot of trials and the tribulations. In fact, when I started off, I must say that it was a perseverance. And the battles in the law courts, everything is actually time-taking affair. When I started, when I armed with my law degree, like anybody else in this room, I had a huge dream. I was to leave this country. I had to, I got my admission done in Columbia Law School for my LLM. But because of the financial, not able to go. I registered myself thereafter in 1994 in the Bar Council. I started my journey. This journey is also, it's marked with a lot of struggles. My journey starts with a lot of struggles and a lot of hope. And of course, I must tell you that it is ignited by a lot of expectation. But, end of the day, when I started off with a note that yes, it is me and me alone, no connections, no one to pull my string, and no one to support me. That is an added advantage. Anything that you do in your life, if you do not have anybody to support, that killing instinct comes automatically. It's not that, you need to have some godfather in any profession, be that medicine, be that accountancy, be that any field of activity. I personally believe if you are the first generation, then you will succeed like anything. That's how I started. When I started off, there are a lot of struggles that I have mentioned just now. I was doing a merger, my first Luminia moment, where the light came. The first merger that I was doing for a huge real estate firm, right? And it is still now the number one. I was doing that matter for them. And after 15 days of conversation, sittings, and the meetings, this first motion petition was finalized. When it was about to file the next Monday, I got a message that it has to file to some other law firms. Other lawyers has to file this. The carpet beneath me has just rolled off. I was thinking I worked hard. I burnt my midnight oil. I did everything to get it done. And suddenly you find that somebody else is to do this. And it was done by somebody else. The next day, I was sitting in the courtroom. I was quite known in that period of time because I was doing a lot of matters on the company side and the company jurisdiction. So I was noticed, and the lawyer the judge asked this lawyer who was nonplussed and who couldn't able to answer. The learned judge asked me, Mr. Patnaik, Is it the right course? These are the regulations. Can we go ahead with the first motion of the merger? And I guided bit and I said that this is the rules, and so therefore you can guide. And you can pass the order. That first motion order was passed successfully in favor of the client, which is no more of mine. The most important part, the bottom line of the story is, mind it, the system may not support you, everything will be taken away, but the destiny will salute you if you are correct in your approach. Why I am saying this? Every odd, people will not respect you, people will not give you what you are due and what you are meant for. But end of the day, it is your hard work, the society, the destiny will respect you. The second Lumina moment for me. I was working for an oil company. It's a great PSU in those days, and today also it is one of those Navratna companies. If you are doing good work, people will notice you inside the courtroom, outside the courtroom as well. It's not that, one fine morning you will become famous. It's not. A lot of trials and tribulations goes into your effort to becoming a good lawyer in the country. I have to file this 33 petition is to be filed. 7 days was there. This managing director of this company, as well as this, the legal head, they were quite supportive because they knew me inside the courtroom, how I argue, how I prepare my petition. They have a lot of, I would say that confidence on me. So I prepared it, filed it, sell their matter through the court. We got a stay order. They are very happy. The next day, there is a change in the legal officer. The head of the legal department was changed. And coincidentally, he was a country cousin and he was an ODR. I was thinking that he will pitch me in and he will give me that chance and the break and I will not find any difficulty. But just opposite happened. He made some unconscionable demands which I couldn't able to satisfy. And the very next day, I was to go to Chandigarh High Court to attend a matter. While coming back, since I couldn't able to satisfy all his unconscionable demands, so all those future matters I have been told will be transferred to another law firm who would be doing. And when I asked why it has been done, because I did my best, I got the order from the court, you would be having the faith in me at least. So ultimately, what happened was that when I asked, the ground given was, the reasoning was that since there is a call come from the ministry, or the ministry was requesting that this law firm is to be engaged, so all the future matters would to be go to him. Now you imagine, as a generation, the first generation lawyer, I did my best, get the order, client was happy, everything was done in order, but the test which I have to face is that despite your best effort getting the orders from the court, the client says no, we'll find another lawyer, and in the midstream. So what happened was that I must tell you, that continued. I took it in my stride. I said that yes, maybe destiny has some good thing in store for me. End of the day, after 19 years, this gentleman retired. He came back to me and he said that we need this opinion and I need your assistance in the courtroom, and that's a personal matter of him. I was asking that why did you change your mind? You have such a fabulous lawyer in your hand and you can engage them. He said, no, competency for which I have come back to you, they cannot perform to my satisfaction, they cannot handle my matter. So, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate test is do your best, and people, society, destiny, everyone would recognize you someday or other. So, if you are thorough in your subject, be that commerce, be that humanities, if you are thorough in your subject, if not today, maybe tomorrow the world will salute you. I can bet. This is my personal experience. These are the two luminous moments. The third one is the compassion. Generally people used to have a lavish party in the hotel. People go to the hotel to celebrate, the good restaurant to celebrate their birthdays. There has been a fashion that yes, this kind of cake should be cut and all. But we in our family make it a point that we never celebrate in the hotels or the restaurants. There is a nearby blind school. We used to go to this blind school. Each one's birthday, we celebrate with those kids who doesn't have an eye even. To see this bright sunshine or the stargazing, they couldn't able to do. The kind of satisfaction that you get in your life when you spend the time with a person who doesn't have anything. You cannot provide the light, right? Nobody can provide a light to the blind. But end of the day, the satisfaction that you get, spending time with these kids who doesn't have the eye to see the world is actually so satisfying. I cannot express it. My daughter, even my little one who is pursuing law, like all of you would be, in your age, she said once, come back to me when she was in school, she said, Papa, I don't need the gift this year. I said, why? He said, I want to give this gift to the Ritesh. Kindly give this gift and I'll just transfer it to Ritesh. And that gives me so much of personal satisfaction that every child must be grounded with reality. There is no doubt about it that yes, the moment you are grounded, when you are going to take the flight off, you would know the reality of life. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, always feel that what you can do for others is no way comparison. Everybody does for themselves, right? I do for myself, you would be doing for yourself. Just think about the others. That's the third part of my Luminia. Fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that yes, I'm not here to give any advice. Like, Oscar Wilde once said, and in very famously, all of you would be knowing that it is silly to advise, right? And almost fatal to give good advice. So therefore, I'm not going to give any advice anymore. But I would be failing in my duty if this spark, this candle, which I spark it before I start, at least going to give that spark among you. To start your journey, it's not your spark is important. The person who is sitting beside you, the neighbors, the friends who has not had that opportunity, who was hiding behind, you must give that spark who can really come up in the life, right? And in fact, my journey is full of struggles. Victor Hugo once said that even the darkest night would be having a brightest morning. In fact, my sunrise took little bit of time, but that doesn't mean that your sunrise is nearby. You must give your best to get the best from this world. And ladies and gentlemen, I would not take much time, but I would be happy and really contented and satisfied the moment I could able to hear. Maybe the next time when I am back here, somebody would say that my Luminia moments after hearing this speech or after hearing the story, you can make it. If a person like me who doesn't have anything can make it, I'm 100% sure all of you can make it. And that killing spirit is there in all of you. And the last but not the least, this is my part of Luminia, traveling from the darkness to the light. And I would be happy to see all of you with, all the trials, all the difficulties. When you come up in your life, I'm not saying by hearing this, I'm not bragging about myself, but the reality remains, the world will salute you. And the moment you would tell your part of story and convince somebody to jump into the fray, jump into the ocean and come up in life. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Achha, okay. Achha, Jen. Can I have the paper?
We would like to invite Dr. Manoj Rana, a distinguished faculty member.